three kings. Stand with me, sing it out. Let me hear you tonight. Think about it. Let's sing. We three kings of Orient come, bearing gifts we travel so far. Hill and mountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us with thy perfect light. Isn't it awesome to be able to see that star and follow yourself and find a little baby there laying in the manger? What an incredible story, the Christmas story. Let's sing that next verse. Let me hear you think about it. Ready? Born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again. King forever, ceasing never, over us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us with thy perfect light. What a great song. I like that. We don't get to sing Christmas songs very often, so we got to get them in while we can. I'm glad you're here this evening. We've got a missionary with us tonight, Xavier Lopez and his wife Rebecca, right up here in the front. I'm glad they're here with us. We got to have dinner and get to know a little bit about he and his family. They've been missionaries in Bolivia for 15 years, and here on furlough for a couple of months, a few more months here in America, and I'm thrilled that they are able to be with us this evening. He'll be talking to us in a little while and sharing his ministry with us. We got a lot to do. I've got several announcements to make, so let's bow for a word of prayer and ask God to bless our time together tonight. Lord, we love you. Thank you for loving us. Lord, thank you for this family that you brought together tonight. Lord, bless this time, please, in a special way. Speak to our hearts. Lord, use Brother Lopez as he preaches to us. Convict us and help us, please, as we seek to draw closer to you and become more like you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You may be seated. Please, let me give you some announcements quickly to remind you of a few upcoming events. This Saturday is our senior service day at the New Life Pregnancy Center. If you're planning to volunteer, you'll need to be there at 10 o'clock, and the work will go from 10 to noon. If you have any questions about that, see Pastor Rodney. We'd like all hands on deck. We'd like to be an encouragement to Missionary in that ministry, and so help us with that if you can this Saturday at 10 o'clock. Our Christmas program is this coming Sunday, and we've been announcing this for weeks to come. CNN, the Christmas News Network. We've been working on it all week. In the last several weeks, it's going to be a good time. Plan to be here this coming Sunday and see how the news outlets may or would share the news of Christ's birth if it were to happen today. It's going to be fun. We'll laugh a lot. We'll have a good time this coming Sunday. On Christmas Day, I need to give you some details about this project that we're working on as a church. Christmas Day is a Wednesday. We won't be having our regular Wednesday night service, but I do want you, if you can, I really want you to come out 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And as a church, we're going to go into our local nursing homes, and we're going to minister and share the love of Christ with these people in our community. And I want to be a blessing to them. And I also want to deliver cookies and we're going to make some bookmarks and Christmas cards to these folks. And so if you could come out and help us with that, we'll be out a couple hours. It'll be a good time as a church family to go outside the walls of our church and to love and to minister. And so if you can do that, please be here. And if you want to help with this project, you say, I can't be there on Christmas Day. I've got a family dinner. Okay, there's other ways you can help. And I need all hands on deck to make this possible. Let me run through this quickly. We would like to deliver 400 Christmas cards. In order to do that, I need some help purchasing these Christmas cards. If you could buy a box or two of Christmas cards, they need to be spiritual Christmas cards. If you could purchase a box or two, would you please sign up at the information desk after the service tonight and let me know that you can provide 24 Christmas cards or you can provide 50 Christmas cards. And here, the deadline to get those turned in is Wednesday, December the 18th. Pastor Rodney's going to collect those. That's 2 weeks from tonight. And so if we can get several of us to buy a couple of boxes of Christmas cards, we can get our 400. 1 week. Just kidding. 1 week. I need my next Wednesday. Thank you for that. Next Wednesday. Don't bring them in 2 weeks. It'll be too late. Next Wednesday. So if you can help with that, please get signed up tonight. Daniel will be at the information desk. You can give him your information. We also need help to write in these Christmas cards. And some of you, I'm not going to let you write these Christmas cards because I've seen your handwriting. But you have legible handwriting. It doesn't have to be perfect, just legible.
I need help getting these Christmas cards filled out. We're going to write something nice in there from our church. We love you. Merry Christmas from Salem Baptist Church. And we'd like to see if we can get some of our senior citizens to help us with this. We want to do this on Thursday and Friday, December the 19th and 20th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you can help with either one of those times, Pastor Rodney and I will be here. We'll be working, filling out those cards. And if you have any questions, let us know. December 19th and December 20th, Thursday and Friday at 1 o'clock. By the way, I've got all this information printed out. You can see it at the information desk on the way out if you need to write these dates down. Here's another way you can help. We need Christmas cookies. We need 75 to 100 dozen. That's a whole lot of cookies. But we're going to be visiting a whole lot of people. I'd like to give them all 3 or 4 cookies apiece. And so we need 75 to 100 dozen cookies. And I need you to sign up at the information desk if you can make Christmas cookies for this event, different kinds. And then if we can't get them all made, we'll have to purchase them because we're already committed. We got 4 nursing homes we're going into on Christmas Day. So I need your help. Make me some good chocolate chip cookies if you can, or sugar cookies, or any kind of Christmas cookies. We'll take them all. And then we need a few more sugar-free cookies. Some of these senior citizens in these nursing homes are not allowed to have sugar. They have dietary restrictions. Ms. Carroll has already agreed to make several dozen, and we need a few more. And so if you have a good sugar-free cookie recipe, and you can help us with that, you can sign up to do that at the information desk. We need all of the Christmas cookies by Sunday, December the 22nd. Now, how many days is that? That's a week from this coming Sunday. And so if you can bring them on that Sunday, don't put them in individually wrapped packages. We're going to do that ourselves so that all the packages look the same. Just bring them in a big bowl or a big bag, and we'll divide them up. And but we need 75 to 100 dozen. How many of you think you can help with some Christmas cookies? Can I see your hand? Good. Tons of hands are up. Good. You're not allowed to make cookies. Sorry. Let's see here. 2 more quick things and we're done. All hands on deck. I need your help. We got to make this happen, okay? If you can help put the Christmas cookies in bags, we're going to have a crew to do that on Monday, December the 23rd at 1 o'clock. And we're going to be here at the church on that Monday. I'll be here. We're going to package these bags and cellophane and twisty tie in there so that we can get them out delivered on Christmas. And lastly, if you can come on Wednesday, December 25th at 2 o'clock, we'll get on the buses and we'll go and do these, minister to these people, love them. It's not going to take us long. We're not Christmas caroling. I just want us to divide and conquer, walk in and shake hands with everyone, give them a hug, tell them Merry Christmas, we love you, here's some cookies and a card from our church, and go on. That's it. Just take a few minutes and love on these people. The nursing homes are thrilled that we're coming. I'm excited about doing it. I hope that you'll participate and get involved in some way. So here's how you can help. One more time. Christmas cards. You can purchase some and get them here. You can help fill them out. You can make Christmas cookies. You can help put the Christmas cookies in bags. And you can be here on Christmas Day. If you have any questions about any of that, hit the information desk on the way out and get signed up to help with that. That's all the announcements I'm going to make tonight. We do have our watch night service coming up. That'll be a lot of fun. That's December the 31st, and that'll be in place of our midweek service. That's all of our announcements for tonight. I'm sorry I took so long, but I had to make those announcements. That's an important project coming up 2 weeks from today. Did I get that right? Thank you. Let's stand. We're going to sing another song. We're going to sing our handshaking chorus. I will sing of the mercies of the Lord. 568. Let's sing it through once, and then we'll shake a hand. Sing it with me. Ready? I will sing of the mercies of the Lord forever. I will sing. My
Make the night go so much funner. More fun.
This week, and he said, whoever's in green, I'm supposed to help. I got on green, and so she gave me $100 towards Operation Christmas Child.
These prayer requests, please, and then we'll take up the offering immediately after that. Miss Louise Cole has been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and it has spread to other parts in her body. If you would please be remembering to pray for Miss Louise. Miss Hope is asking us to pray for her friend Corals and Linda Carr. Katrinka is asking us to remember to pray for Larry Birdsell. Brother Larry has liver cancer. And then Joyce has 2. And they're pretty lengthy, so I'll just read them as they are. Please pray for our nieces, Brenna and Bella. Most of you know that they are now wards of DCF, and they are going to be coming to live with the Bushes. If you'll pray for wisdom for them, as they add to their family. And then Joyce asked us to pray for Tinley Stokes as she gets ready to go to Boston to have a surgery on January the 7th. On the 7th, she'll be getting put in a halo, and then on February the 6th, they'll be doing surgery to place 2 rods through her ribs. She's 7 years old. She's already had 22 surgeries. Her stay in Boston will be at least 3 months, if not longer. Please pray for her parents, Lee and Haley, as they will be away from work for all of this time, and pray that God gives them wisdom and meets their needs, please. Brother David and Mr. Loris are asking us to pray for David Pinwell. He has neurological problems, and there's not a diagnosis yet. And then Brother Scott Rutherford is asking us to pray for Ophi Hill, has stage 4 breast cancer, and this is for the 2nd time. Brother Tom Black is asking us to pray for Dave Hector. He has heart problems. He's in the Macon County Honor Guard. And let's pray, and then we'll take up our offering. Father, it's a whole lot more fun to rejoice and to thank you for what you've done and to be excited about the blessings that you've given to us than it is to hear the heavy prayer requests that we've heard tonight. Lord, Miss Louise loves you. She wants to bring you honor and glory. Father, I'd ask you please to bless her. I'd ask you, Father, to be with these other requests. Lord, would you give peace? Would you give comfort? Father, would you, even in these very dark times, would you help folks see the opportunity to be a good testimony for you, to show that God is real? Father, I'd ask you please to be with us as a church family. We have a responsibility to come alongside some of these folks and love them, show them the love of Christ, and let them know that they're not going through this journey alone, that certainly you're with them, but we will be too. God, may we be spiritual enough to care about other people. May we be sensitive to your leading, and when you prompt us, may we be obedient. I'd ask you, Father, please to be with the missionary tonight, give him your wisdom, bless him as he presents the ministry there in Bolivia. And then, Lord, I ask you specifically for our Christmas project. This is a big undertaking. May we have 100% participation in some way or the other by all of our members. And let us love on some folks who desperately need to see how much you love them. Bless this offering now, please. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
I don't want to steal any of Brother Lopez's thunder. I don't want to take any of his time. He's going to come. He's going to talk to us about his ministry in Bolivia. We're going to watch a video in just a few moments, and he'll preach to us for the remainder of our time. I've asked him to not make time for questions tonight because I want to give him plenty of time to talk and preach. But he has agreed to be at his table after the service, and he'll answer any questions you have about his ministry or about Bolivia on your way out. Make sure you stop by their table and meet them, get their prayer card. Wonderful family. Glad to meet them this afternoon, and I know you will be too. Brother Lopez, why don't you come? Let's give him a round of applause.
And so, what a great blessing to be with you all tonight. My name is Xavier Lopez, and this is my wife, Rebecca. And we're missionaries serving in Bolivia, South America. My wife grew up as a missionary kid, and her parents were missionaries in Korea and all of Asia, Dr. Clarence Moore. And so, when we got married, she complemented my ministry completely. Now I'll tell you what, when I graduated from Hiles Anderson College back in 1998, the plan was I was going to go back to my home church that sent me to Hiles Anderson and be the assistant pastor. So I went to my senior appointment with Brother Hiles at that time. He was my pastor at that time, and I told him my plans, to be the assistant at Hope Baptist Church in Downtown California. And he thought it was all great. He knew Pastor Ray, had preached there on different occasions. And so when I was leaving his office, he stopped me and said, "Wait a minute, are you married?" I said, "No." He said, Are you dating anyone?" I said, "No." He said, "Get back in here." Brother Howe said, "I strongly never recommend a man of God leave this place and go into the ministry full time without a wife." He said, "Get you out there and get you one. They're everywhere. Now get out of here." And so I walked away from his office, went straight to the payphone. I put my money in and called Pastor Ray and said, "Brother House said not to come." And he said, "Why did you ask Brother House?" I said, "I don't know. It's just when I see your appointment. That's what you're supposed to do." And so he said, "Okay." And he hung up and he hired someone else. And so my entire future changed in just a short amount of time. But thank God I stayed. Because God gave me the girl of my dreams. And boy, we got married, and she complements everything that we're doing out there in the ministry. She's the most delicate, feminine. Am I saying that right in English? Feminine? Yeah. It sounds kind of funny. I'm used to speaking Spanish now. Feminine, dainty, tough chick I've ever met in my life. And so, but that was God blessing. And so we got married back in 2001, started Deputation 3 months later. And when we first started Deputation, we were staying in a small apartment in Dyer, Indiana. And we were running out of money. I was planning on working for a year before we started Deputation, but we were running out of money. And so I was looking for a job. And so I told her, "You know what, I think we're just going to start Deputation now." And she said, "Okay." And so I talked to the owner of the place. We moved all out of the apartment and loaded a little U-Haul trailer and moved our stuff out. Dropped it off at my dad's house in California. We drove all the way across the states to California, and we started traveling. And I began preaching in churches and raising support. And in 2004, we finished Deputation, and we landed in Bolivia, La Paz, Bolivia, South America. And I couldn't speak Spanish. I looked like I should, but I didn't grow up from California. I didn't grow up speaking Spanish, and so we had to go to language school. We arrived in Bolivia with 12 bags. We didn't know anyone. We couldn't speak Spanish. A lot of sign language and trying to figure out what they're saying and trying to get them to understand what we were saying. But we figured it out. With God's help, we found a language institute. It's a 5-month program in Cochabamba, Bolivia. That's not a dance. That's the name of a city there in Bolivia. And afterwards, we paid our money, and I said, "I can't speak Spanish." And they said, "You have to go out there and use it." And so we went to La Paz, and we began to use it. During that time, the country was on the verge of a civil war. And there was a group of people, a political party called the Movement Towards Socialism, trying to take control of the country. And they did. And there were people, hundreds of thousands of people marching in the streets saying, "Death to the Yankees! Death to the Yankees!" Well, they were blaming the United States for all of their problems, and I know I don't look like a Yankee, but I am. They were talking about the North Americans. And so, as long as I didn't talk, they thought I was oblivion. And then when I started trying to speak Spanish, they were like, "You're from North America." But during that time, it was scary. They were talking about killing Americans. They had kicked out our American ambassador. There wasn't an American ambassador there since 2008, I think it was, 2007, around there. And a scary time. But we started our church amongst all those problems in November of 2005. And I really felt like I couldn't speak Spanish well. It took about 8 to 10 hours to write out a message in English with a dictionary, translate it into Spanish, and then hire a tutor to come and help me understand all my grammatical errors and rewrite the whole thing in Spanish, and then to rewrite it all in Spanish correctly. That was about an 8 to 10 hour process. And it would take me about 15 minutes to read it to the people while they fell asleep. I could preach. I really can't. It was just like, oh. But we stuck it out. And we continued one of the best things I did for my Spanish was to start a church, because I was the pastor, and that forced me to speak more Spanish and learn more Spanish. And we continued trying to reach people, trying to work with people. It was the second year of our church. We were having a big day, and a lady was invited to our church named Victoria, Hermana Victoria. And she came to church, and she got saved, and she was coming for a few weeks. Well, during those days, we only had a Sunday morning and a Sunday night service, because it took so long for me to prepare my messages. But in the morning service, we would take prayer requests. And she started getting up every Sunday and crying and saying, "Pray for my husband, pray for my family. I'm going to leave him, I'm going to divorce him." And so I told her after a few weeks of that, I said, "If you will fast and pray this following week, I'll fast and pray also. And next Saturday, I'll go talk to your husband and try to witness to him." And she said, "Okay." So she fulfilled her obligation, I fulfilled my obligation. I went and knocked on the door the following Saturday. And he opened the door, her husband. He's a mechanic by trade. And I began to witness, so I began to talk to him. And I didn't know what to expect, because a lot of people were very much so against the United States and North Americans and whatnot. They call us the imperialists. They're to take over their country and whatnot. And he had a good attitude. In my broken Spanish, I led him to the plan of salvation, and he trusted Christ right there at his door. I told him, I said, "You've got to come to church tomorrow." He was the neighborhood drunk. He would get his paycheck on Friday and disappear till Monday or Tuesday. He'd go in Bolivia, in La Paz, the indigenous people, the big draw is the soccer field. And that's where they get drunk and party, and they'll sleep out there. They'll live out there for a couple days, all drunk, constantly getting drunk and being immoral and whatnot in the soccer fields. So I think in the States we call that the baseball stadiums. Is that, is that the football stadium? I've been away from the States so long. But he got saved. I said, "You got to come tomorrow. Come to church." He said, "Look, Pastor, I have an obligation tomorrow. I can't come, but I'll come next Sunday." And I said, "I'm going to hold you to that." And he came the following Sunday. He was hungover, but he came. He got baptized with his wife that Sunday. I began trying to work with him and encourage him. His friends said, "You know what? You won't last. You'll be back with us. You won't last in that church. We know how this works." We started a Bible study. We started getting him memorizing verses and getting him reading his Bible and studying. He started coming to church faithfully here and there. But that Bible study just caught on with him. And he began to read his Bible faithfully. He began to shy away from the parties, because he started to realize that those parties, he would fall into temptation and it would weaken him. Amen. He began to spend more time with me than with his old friends. And he began to change. He kept coming to church. We started a midweek service. Well, from the very beginning, we had the soul winning program. He started coming soul winning with me. But it was on a trip to Argentina, Tucumán, Argentina. There was a conference. And there was a pastor that was going to preach there named Ezekiel Salazar. And I wanted to bring as many people to come hear that pastor preach. We drove about 26 hours to get to that conference. What an experience. We made it. And during that conference, it made an impact. He was one of the people at that conference, the preaching, the teaching during that week made an impact on his life. And he came back. We came back to La Paz. And he made a decision that he was not going to miss a week of services. He was going to come to church faithfully. He also made a second decision. He was going to win souls. I started taking him soul winning with me. This is the neighborhood drunk. This is the guy that would fight with his wife. His wife was going to leave him with the kids. And his life was being ruined, already destroyed, on the verge of being destroyed when he got saved. And God began working in his life. He became a right-hand man through the years. Faithful man. I love him. He became my faithful right-hand man. That same man is now the pastor of the church. This is 13 years later. The church, we just celebrated 14-year anniversary of the church this past weekend. What was the 1st of December? Wasn't that a Sunday? They celebrated it, 14th year anniversary of the church there. And they had a high attendance for them, 165 people. I think there was like 40 visitors, I think it was, and 30 people saved and 5 baptisms. And that's all on them. I didn't organize it. I'm not giving money to it. That's all of their church. That's God blessing and honoring His word. Amen. You know what? If God can do that in Bolivia, God can do that here. And God can do that anywhere in the entire world. He just needs a witness to help people hear the truth and believe. I'm going to show you a short video, and then I'm going to come back and preach a short message to you. But while we're watching the video, I'm going to narrate the video. So if we can go ahead and start the video, and then I'll come back to finish with the message. So Xavier, Rebecca Lopez, missionaries from Bolivia, South America. We've now been serving out there in Bolivia for 15 years. All of the workers in this video are converts. We didn't work with any other missionaries. We just went out there and pioneered a work. This is a typical Sunday morning service there. They're in La Paz, Bolivia. And we believe in soul winning. We were trained to be soul winners. So Jesus was a soul winner. We win souls in the hospitals. We win souls door to door. Those are our girls we're training to be zealous soul winners also. On the streets, that's Priscilla. She came to church when she was about 7 years old. She's now in our seminary. My beautiful wife, Rebecca. And Armando, he's our transportation expert. When we need to rent buses, he's the man to go to. Soul winning in the parks and plazas. We have been able to rear up a generation of zealous soul winners that are sold out to God. And fearless. God's opened doors to win souls in the military. We were able to reach a man in charge of the military, and he was in charge of the Marines. And he began to tell me he was the boss of it all. So I began to ask him if he could open doors for me to preach the military. And he did. Matter of fact, that's him on the left up there with that beret on his head. I just preached a sermon on salvation. I said, if you just trusted Christ as your Savior, please raise your hand. And so I had preached salvation and gave them the invitation. And they had trusted Christ, and we're counting how many people trusted Christ. Baptism. We baptize by immersion, biblically, just like your church. Here are a few different examples of different converts we have baptized. And we've baptized hundreds of our ministry, and to the glory of God. And God is blessed. We've seen God use our ministry in an incredible way. That's Brother Alberto baptized, who was now the pastor. And that's the story I was just telling. Our Sunday school has become a strong backbone of our ministry. We've built up to 15 classes, and our Sunday school teachers helped me organize the church, plan for activities, and helped me to run the ministry. And they became very close servants of God through our ministry. And these are different teachers who are their students, just to give you an idea of what they look like and what the classes look like. And so God has blessed in an incredible way. The bus ministry. The second year of the ministry, I tried to start the bus ministry by myself, and it failed. I couldn't get it off the ground. And so about 4 years later, we were watching a pastor school at North Valley Baptist Church through the internet while we were in La Paz, Bolivia. And Brother Doug Fisher preached on the bus ministry. And after that message, I decided to try it again because now we had a team of soul winners and workers to help. And it took off. God blessed it. And so these are different buses that we rent and vans. You'll see in the video that we rent to bring people to church. They will come, but someone needs to bring them in. There's a 15-passenger van that we bring people to church in. We've packed that thing up with over 30 people. And the drivers get furious until I give them about $5 extra, and they're happy. We rent several buses to bring people to church, but the purpose of the bus ministry there in La Paz is not to build the church, it's to build our people. We use our bus ministry to train our people how to win souls, how to bring their converts to church. One thing about the bus ministry is when you knock on someone's door, you know where to find them the following week, because you just knock on the door. Different examples of big days in our ministry. We've seen thousands upon thousands of people saved in our ministry through the years. Goldfish Sunday, I tried that, and they could not believe that we were giving away little goldfish, and they came out of the woodworks for goldfish, and many of them got saved and baptized. There's a church anniversary, just to show you how we do it. People serving, working together. Our big days are not, the purpose for the big days is not to build a church. The purpose for the big days is to get the people involved. And there are people who have never done anything in our church that will get involved during a big day and become a part of our servants of Christ. in our church. Here's a typical Sunday morning junior church with one of our preacher boys preaching. And there's an Easter Sunday. They had never heard of an Easter egg hunt. And when I gave away eggs and chocolates to hunt for, they came out of the woodworks and many got saved and baptized. There's our main service Sunday mornings. At the same time, there's a junior church going on also. Now there's Alberto. He's one of my converts. He's now the pastor, and he's running with the ministry. And he caught it. He caught the vision. They have a vision. They're running with our seminary also. I gave the seminary over to them this past January of 2019. And they have a vision of starting more churches with those graduates. Please pray for our family. We're the Lopez family serving Jesus in the country of Bolivia, South America. And upon our arrival back to Bolivia this following year, we're going to look for a place to live. And then we're going to find where we're going to start our church in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. And we will start that new church and run with it. Try and reach as many people as we possibly can in the city of Santa Cruz, Bolivia. And so that first church there, all of our converts. And so in our seminary, we have 8 people training for full-time Christian service in our seminary there in the first church. And so I'm considering taking 2 men from that seminary and hiring them to help me start this next church and continue their training with me in the following city where we will be serving and starting the next church. Please pray for us. We desperately need your prayers. We have a table display out in front here with our prayer cards. If you will please take a prayer card and pray. Your prayers can make an impact not only in Bolivia, but around the world. If you will take seriously, you're responsible to pray. You can help us transform lives in Bolivia. You can help us literally start our next church by praying for our family and praying for our ministry on the other side of the world. While we're serving, while we're ministering, while we're doing funerals, while we're knocking doors, while we're running the bus routes, as we're training in the seminary, you can make an impact on our family and our ministry by your prayers. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's miraculous. That's the way God has planned His will. It's an absolutely incredible miracle that we can make a difference here in the United States, around the world. Let's go ahead and open our Bibles. Let's look here in Deuteronomy chapter 6, please. Deuteronomy chapter 6. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 6. And please, if you have any questions after the service, we'll be standing by our table, and I'd love to answer any questions you might have. And Deuteronomy chapter 6, please. And if you wouldn't mind standing, if you're able, for the reading of the Word of God. Deuteronomy chapter 6. And I'm going to start reading in verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 6, looking down at verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land whither you go to possess it. And so God was wanting them to do or obey His word. Let's go ahead and jump back to Deuteronomy chapter 5 and looking at verse 27. Deuteronomy chapter 5, looking down at verse 27. Go thou near and hear all that the Lord our God shall say, and speak thou unto us all that the Lord our God shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it. Verse 29. Oh, that there were such an heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Verse 31, we're in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 31. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments, and will speak unto thee all the commandments, and the statutes, and the judgments, which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give to them to possess it. Let's go ahead and pray so you can be seated. Father, please bless the message tonight. Please bless our presence in this church. I've never met these people before, but you know exactly who they are. We're going to be preaching your word. You know exactly what they need. I pray that you would move. I pray that you would use your word as a mighty instrument. Lead me, guide me. Help me to say what you would have me to say, Lord. I pray that you would be glorified. We love you and thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. You may be seated. Interesting. So God wants us not only to learn His truth, but He wants us to teach His truth. He wants us to obey His truth. And He gives us His promise that He will bless us if we will obey. Look over here in verse, we're going to look at Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 3. Deuteronomy chapter 6, looking down at verse 3. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not, and houses full of all good things, which thou fillest not, and wells dig, which thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees, which thou plantest not, when thou shalt have eaten and be full. Then beware, lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. Ye shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the people, which are round about you. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God, as ye tempted him in Massah. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee. Verse 25, we're in Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. You know, God wants us to uplift his word, his truth. God commands us to put this Bible, the Word of God, first place in our lives. God is searching for a group of people. God is searching for a man or a lady. God is looking for a teenager or even a child that will take him at his word, that will believe what he says in the Bible and practice it, that will put God first in their lives, that will allow God to bless them, that will show God that he is real, that they truly believe in him, that nothing will get in their way in order to walk with God and find God and meet with God and search for God, that nothing will stop them, that God is real and God is first in their lives, and God says, I will bless you, I will bless your life, I will bless your children, I will bless your family, I will bless your work, I will bless your ministry if you will put me first in your life. And so many times we get so busy, so many times we forget the presence of God. That's one of the great dangers of alcohol. That's one of the great dangers of drugs. It causes us to forget the presence of God. Yes, sir. And live after our own fleshly desires. We need to fill ourselves with his book. Good. It's not a book that we just read a few verses a day out of obligation and go on with our daily lives to fulfill our own will. Oh, God bless me, please. God bless you. Are you listening to me? God gives us his blessing, his promise of his blessing on our lives. But he wants us to put his word first. When I was searching for a wife, I'll tell you what, I was memorizing Bible verses. I was praying. I was begging God, please give me a wife. If you were driven by Palace Anderson College about 1 in the morning during the week, you probably would have heard a still small voice saying, I wasn't praying for God's power. I was saying, God, you called me to be a missionary. Give me a wife. Give me a wife. I once heard a preacher say, you should make a list of what kind of girl you want. Tell God what you're looking for. And ask Him for what you want. So I got my pen. I was a teenager. I got my pen. And I wrote down, beautiful. Number 2, she loves God. She's in love with God. Yeah. Number 3, she can play the piano, because I'm going to start a church. I need a pianist. Number 4, that she's beautiful. You know what? That's exactly what God gave me. I just wish I would have said, she's a millionaire also. But God answers my prayer, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why is because I was memorizing verses. I was reading my Bible. We should all be growing in our Bible knowledge. We should all be desiring to spend time with God every day and connect with Him before we go out in that world and go to work, go to school, or do whatever with our family. We should connect to God every day in order to receive His blessing upon our lives. Look at Psalms chapter 1. Psalms chapter 1. Let's go and jump over there. Psalms chapter 1. Psalms chapter 1. I'm going to start with verse 1. Psalms chapter 1, looking down in verse 1. Psalms chapter 1 and verse 1. The Bible says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. Are you listening to it? Are you hearing God's word? Is it speaking to you? How much do you read your Bible? Isn't it an add-on to your daily life? Or is it your reason for breathing? The purpose for breathing is to read your Bible. How much time do you pray asking God to teach you His word? Begging God, please, help me to see your truth. Help me to understand what you're saying. Help me to understand your will so I can fulfill it. Teach me your Bible, please. Speak to my heart. Feed me. You know, this is, who likes to eat? Come on, let's be serious. Who likes to eat? Raise your hand. Who likes to eat? You can tell I like to eat. Who likes to eat hot dogs? Yeah, why not? Hot dogs, walk in. Who likes to eat? You know, I almost got Cracker Barrel. I almost got that roast beef dinner. Man, isn't that good? The roast beef. It was just too much food at that time. Who likes roast beef? Yeah. Thanksgiving. Oh my goodness. Turkey with all the fixings. Who says pizza? Gosh, I'm happy with pizza. Yeah, oh yeah, right there. Yeah, pizza. That's part of our culture now. Pizza. You know there's spiritual pizza in there? There's spiritual hot dogs in there. That's what you like. There's spiritual Coca-Cola in there. And we've got to read it in order to feast on it. Yes. What is the attitude of a person who hasn't eaten for a day? What is their attitude? Talk to me. What's their attitude? Angry? Okay, angry. Yeah. Hangry. Okay, yeah, hey. What if they haven't eaten for a week? Week? They lose their drive. They lose their desire to play sports or work. If you haven't eaten for a month, you're about close to dying. I've seen people who haven't eaten for weeks. They didn't even want to walk around. They were discouraged. They had no desire for fun, for ministry, for family. They actually got despondent. You know, when we fast from the Word of God, we lose the hunger or the desire for the things of God that are spiritual. You don't read your Bible, you're not going to want to pray. You haven't filled yourself with the Bible, you're not going to want to go soul winning. Have you ever tried to win souls when you're backsliding? I have. It's horrible. why you're not right with God, you haven't read your Bible like you should? I have. It's awful. The things of God become detestable when you're not filled with God's word. But God says, I will bless you. Psalms chapter 103. Again, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. It's a priority. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. That's a promise of God. You know one of the reasons God has blessed our ministry out there? Because I've tried to obey those verses right there. I've tried to fill myself with his word. I've tried to meditate in his word. I've tried to memorize his word. I've tried to teach his word. I've tried to preach his word. I've tried to lift it up and glorify his word. And that's one of the reasons why we've gone to one of the hardest places in Bolivia to try and start a church. And God has blessed it, and it's lasted so far. Let me show you some other verses. I'm going to give a little bit of an application we've got to finish. Let's go ahead and look at Psalms chapter 119. Psalms chapter 119. Psalms chapter 119. Let's look down at verse 1. Psalms chapter 119. If you're not sure where Psalms is, open your Bible in the middle, and you should arrive at Psalms. Psalms chapter 119 and verse 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep thy testimonies, and that seek him with the whole heart. Verse 7. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart, when I shall have learned thy righteous judgments. This, right here is showing us that God's word will cause us to praise God. The more we learn about God, the more it will cause us to praise God. Verse 9, look at Psalms chapter 119, verse 9. This is one of the first verses we have in conference memorized. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. Verse 11, thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. This word is so practical. If we will fill ourselves with God's word, it will help us to stay away from sin. It will help to clean our lives up. Do you understand that? Are you struggling with dirty thoughts? Are you struggling with bad motives? Are you struggling with different feelings that are negative in your life? Fill yourself with God's word. Let me show you. Let's go ahead and continue on. Let's look here in verse 15. I will meditate, we're in Psalms chapter 119, verse 15. I will meditate in thy precepts. I have respect unto thy ways. I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. The psalmist was saying, your word is so important to me. I will not forget it. I will pass time. And look over here in verse 23. Psalms chapter 119, verse 23. Princes also did sit and speak against me, but thy servant did meditate in thy statutes. This book is like a large anchor for the soul that brings stability. You're being criticized at work. Someone's talking negatively behind your back about you and your family. You need to control those thoughts. Right. Your thoughts are going to control your feelings. Yeah. And your feelings are going to control your actions. Yeah. What do we do when we feel out of control, when we feel angry, when we feel frustrated? Look right here in verse 23. Princes also did sit and speak against me, but thy servant did meditate in thy statutes. When I felt lonely, when I felt angry, when I felt frustrated, I meditated in your word. Look at verse 78. Psalms chapter 119 and verse 78. Let the proud be ashamed, for they dealt perversely with me without a cause. But I will meditate in thy precepts. This book is so practical. And it has every answer to life's problems. Amen. Let's look at another verse in Proverbs chapter 11. Proverbs chapter 11. After Psalms, Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 11. Let's look down here in verse 8, just because it's an awesome verse. Proverbs chapter 11. Let's go and look down in verse 8. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. An hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. When it goeth well with the righteous, the city rejoiceth. And when the wicked perish, there is shouting. By the blessing, verse 11, by the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted. We've tried. We haven't been perfect at it. But we've desperately tried to get God's blessing in our life while we've been out there in Bolivia. So the city where we're living would be blessed.
Good. Amen.
In the beginning of our ministry, it just seemed impossible. I kept trying to reach people. I had some people spit in my face at times, criticize me, make fun of me, getting calls, death calls, we're going to murder your wife, violate her, we're going to... And it got to the point where it's like, we're going to leave. These people can just go to hell. I don't even care anymore. We've had a few times where we almost walked away from it. But every time I kept coming back to this book, and God promised me. And I just decided I'm just going to believe it. I'm just going to believe it. I can't see I'm not seeing the fruit that I want to see. It seems like this ministry is not taking off like I thought it should. But I am just going to plant myself. I'm going to walk with God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to devour the Bible. I'm going to prepare myself for the messages. And I'm going to fast and pray sometimes. And I'm going to give everything I can as I preach, as I knock doors, as I witness. I see people saved, new converts. We just stuck it out there now for 15 years. And the video is part of what we're talking about. God is blessed. God is blessed. We've been trying to reach people out there that worship the sun. They worship the moon. They worship Pachamama. Pachamama is what we consider to be Mother Earth. They say there in La Paz that if they're going to build a building, they will find a street person and they'll offer him new clothes, food, alcohol, and they will drug the alcohol so he'll pass out. And they will take that man and they will seal him in the foundation of that building they're building as a blood offering to Pachamama. We had a Spanish teacher, and he said when he was a teenager, he worked in a cave in a mine. The mining industry is very big there in that part of Bolivia. And he said he was 15 years old, and the mine was not producing like it was supposed to. And so the owners of the mine brought all these teenagers, the new workers, into the mine. They started dancing around a fire. They were chanting things, they were drinking different alcoholic beverages and whatnot. And it came to a peak, they were chanting and dancing, and they pulled out a man and slit his throat and spilled his blood all over the walls of the cave. And it looks like these things actually work. Because the mine begins to reproduce, or begins to produce again. And they have a blessing. They believe the devil's the god of the underground. These are the people that we've been trying to reach. A lot of the people in our church came out of that type of belief system. You know how impossible it's been to reach these people? It almost driven me crazy at times trying to just, God, please, teach me. I beg of you, please, Lord. And seeing God do it. You know, God can use you. It's not just for the missionaries. It's for every child of God. You know, God wants to use you. God greatly desires to use your life in your school, in your neighborhood, in your business, here at the church. God searches. He's looking for those people who truly believe what he says in this book. Tonight, if God visited you in your pew, would he find a servant of God that's in love with his word? How much did you read today? Is this really priority in your life? Is this really something that matters in your life? Or are you fasting from God's word? God desperately wants to bless your life and use you in this generation, at this time. It's not an accident we're here. It's not an accident we're crossing paths right now. I'm going back to Bolivia. I'll probably never see you again in my life. I don't know. Maybe you'll come and visit us. I don't know. But we're spending our lives. You know what I'm noticing more and more? The older I get, the shorter my life seems to be. My life is passing by so fast. We couldn't have children for 12 years. We would pray and beg God and fast, and there were people praying for us around the world. We're coming close to our 40s. My wife says, I think I'm expecting. I said, whoa, let's just be slow about this. And I remember praying and saying, God, please, oh, God, don't let us lose this child. We had never conceived. We never lost a child before. We had never conceived. We were saying, God, please, I beg of you, Lord. Man, that would be very hard to conceive finally after 12 years of trying and to lose the baby. Please, God, I beg of you. And God gave us that first daughter. God has given us a second daughter. We're in our 40s having babies. You know, one of the reasons is because of this book. We're talking about spending hours in this book every day. You see, I don't have time for that. My pastor told me when I went to Bible college, if you don't have time to read your Bible and pray while you're in college, he said, if you're too busy to read your Bible and pray, you're too busy.
Yeah.
You need to change something. I was killing myself. I was sleeping 4 hours a day my freshman year. I was walking with God, just like before college. But I was sleeping very little. I was miserable. I went to one of my teachers and said, look, I am not enjoying this. He said, graduate in 5 years. Take a little lighter load. No one's pushing you to graduate in 4. Right. That gave me the freedom to walk with God before my classes, have my classes. God has blessed my life. And let me tell you, God wants to bless your life. I'm sure there's a lot of you here that want to talk about your classes. I guarantee you. Some of you are teachers. Some of you are leaders in the ministry. You don't have to be, just to be a leader, that doesn't mean that you don't have a blessing if you're not a leader. But you know what? God wants to use everyone. That's the only way we can explain what has happened out there in Bolivia and what's going to happen in the next chapter of our ministry and family. God, I'm a man that doesn't belong up here. And the only reason God is using me, I believe, is because I'm putting this message into practice. Please bow your head and close your eyes. Let me ask you a few questions. We need to finish. With our heads bowed and our eyes closed, maybe there's someone here tonight that will say, Brother Xavier, you know what? God has spoken to my heart. And God is using the message tonight to make me understand, to open my eyes. He's not first in my life. His word does not have priority in my heart. I have gotten cold. I have wandered away. Maybe you still read the Bible, but it's not sweet. It's out of obligation. Who would say, God has spoken to my heart tonight? Please pray for me. Is there something like that here tonight? Just lift your hand up. Put it right back down. Amen. 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 Praise God. Praise God. Someone else, Brother Xavier, I didn't raise my hand, but the reality is God is working in my heart concerning the message tonight. Please, Pastor, please pray for me. Is there someone else that would lift their hand up, put it right back down? Amen. Praise God. Maybe there's someone here tonight that would say, Brother Xavier, I'm making a decision right now. I am making the decision. I am going to read God's word. I'm going to put it first in my life. I once heard a missionary say he will not eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner until he's read his Bible and prayed. That's a man with his priorities in pure life. I'm not going to eat any food until I've walked with God. Is God's word first in your life? Who would say, Brother Xavier, I'm making the decision tonight. I am going to put God's word first. I'm going to put God's word priority where it belongs in my life. That's my decision tonight. Who's making that decision with you? Lift your hand up, put it right back down. Amen. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Finally, maybe there's someone here tonight that would say, Brother Xavier, oh, I believe God wants to bless my life. I believe God is calling me. I believe He's desiring to use my life. And I am surrendering my life to full-time Christian service. I am surrendering my life to whatever God would have me do. I give Him my life. Is there someone maybe here tonight that would say, Brother Xavier, that's my decision tonight? Just lift your hand up and right back down. Amen. Praise God. Praise God. Anyone else? Amen. Father, please use the message in our lives. Please help us to live in such a way that we are so blessed that even other people can see it, like Joseph. They could see your blessing so full on him, or so heavy on his life. They could not deny it. The blessing on Abraham's life. Everyone around him could see it. No one was mistaken by it. You blessed Isaac. You blessed Jacob. How you blessed Joseph. How you blessed David. So many people in the Bible. Examples. And how they talked and how they worshiped you and how they fell in love with you. I pray that you would bless this message, bring it home. I pray that you would not only allow us to hear it, but allow us to push us, lead us to practice it in our daily lives. Please stand. Please stand. As the piano begins to play, let's give an invitation. Hey, let's put feet to our prayers. Come. Use the altar. This is it. Hey, if you put your hand up in the air, if you're making a decision, come. Let God see that you're taking this seriously. Don't wait. Don't allow the blessing to pass. God wants to use our lives in an incredible way. God wants to lift up more servants of God out of this church. Your pastor came out of this church. God wants to do it again. God wants to bless your children. God wants to bless your grandchildren. God wants to use your life, so that it can be blessed. And God will be glorified. And others could hear the gospel message. I'd like to give you an opportunity to contribute to Brother Lopez's ministry, and I'm going to take up a special offering for him. I'd like you to help in any way that you can. I'm going to give. I hope that you will. I'll pray, our ushers will come, and we'll do our best at Salem Baptist Church to be encouragement to this family. Let's pray. Lord, you bless this offering, please. Would you multiply it? Would you help us here at Salem Baptist Church to be encouragement to this family? Lord, continue to use them in Bolivia in a mighty way. Lord, it's obvious you've already done so much. And I know that you're not finished. You've got more that you're going to accomplish for Brother Lopez and his family. Lord, bless them, please. Use them. Thank you for allowing our paths to cross tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
your wife, go ahead and get back to your table, let you get ahead of the crowd. I want you to stop by their table on the way out and shake their hand, ask any question you want to ask, take a prayer card, and glad that we were able to have some time for this family tonight. I'd also like to remind you, if you're going to help with our Christmas project, to go by the information desk tonight, see Daniel, and get your name on one of those lists. Let us know if you can get some Christmas cards, make some Christmas cookies, or if you can help us with one of those projects coming up. All right, let's be dismissed. As we're dismissed, I'll ask Pastor Thompson if he'll dismiss us in prayer.
Father, thank you for sending the man of God our way, and thank you for a wonderful message from thy word. Help us to examine our own hearts, ask ourselves, are we in the word like we should be? God, help us to love your word, to live by your word,